it using those gates if time permits. So let's begin with this classical gates first. So agenda is like first classical gates we will be reviewing, and then quantum bits we will understand in detail, and then different quantum gates. So there are single qubit quantum gates and multi-qubit quantum gates. So as everyone, so participants, you just respond to me by unmuting your mic and telling the answer, or if any question is there, you simply can ask. No need to write in the chat box. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So this is the basic NOT gate which you are all are aware in classical. So whenever we input some bit X to it, it will complement it. So if you supply input 0, then you will get output as 1. Okay. And if you supply input 1, then you will get 0 as an output. So what happens if I apply again a NOT gate here? Can anyone tell what I will be getting here?
The same input.
So what is that input? X.
The same input.
So it's kind of, if you apply NOT gate 2 times, then you will get the original thing. Means NOT is its self inverse. You can say like this. NOT is its inverse. Okay. Means 2 times NOT is equal to identity kind of thing. If you apply on X, then you will get X only. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. What about this AND gate? Can anyone tell what is a classical AND gate does?
When all the inputs are 1, then only output is 1.
Okay, perfect. So this is the case. Otherwise, it is output 0. So if I ask you, is this gate invertible? Means can I go in reverse direction? Seeing this Z, can I tell about X and Y?
No, sir.
No.
No. So because this gate is not reversible, so we cannot go in the reverse direction. So seeing this Z, we cannot tell about what is the input X or Y, or there does not exist any other gate which can invert this AND effect and get us to X and Y. So the thing here is that because in classical gates, what happens is that there are many inputs, more than one inputs, and we get one output most of the time. So what happening here is that there are two input X and Y, but we are getting one output Z only. So in this application of this gate, some information is being lost about this input X and Y. Is it okay? Since there are two inputs and we are getting one output, so one bit of information must have been lost in this application of this gate. So can you tell any other gate which is inverse or which is invertible in classical? Okay, first you name any other gates which you know in classical.
OR gate.
Okay.
NAND gate.
So OR gate is inversible or not?
OR gate is irreversible, sir.
Irreversible, because
Irreversible.
in OR gate what happens is that whenever at least one input is 1, we get output as 1. So suppose if we get 1 as an output, so we cannot tell about what were the inputs. Input may be 0, 1, or maybe 1, 0, or maybe 1, 1. So all these gates other than this NOT gate are not invertible in classical. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So tell about this NAND gate. Can anyone explain what does this NAND gate does and what is special about this gate?
If any of the input is 0 means we get logic high outputs.
Sorry?
If any of the input is logically low means we can get logic high outputs.
Perfect. So high or low means high is 1 and low is 0. So correct.
Low is 0.
So,
Yes, sir.
yeah. So what is special about this gate?
It's a universal gate.
Universal gate.
Perfect. So can anyone, one of you tell what is the universal gate?
We can construct all the
Using
remaining.
Yes, please.
True.
Yes, sir. Using this gate, we can construct NOT gate, AND gate,
AND.
OR gate. Everything can be constructed.
Okay. So if I ask you how you can construct OR gate, okay, I want to construct a NOT gate. How I can
Not
construct?
you simply connect A, X and Y together.
Okay.
So now this is
Like
going
this?
to act as a yes.
Yeah. So you will get X dash here. Is it so?
0. 0, that means it is shorted. X and Y are shorted. So 0 means we'll get 1. And if you give 1, 1, both X and Y will be 1. So I get 0. So it gets inverts the input
perfectly.
actually.
Okay. And if I want to use as the AND gate, I want to have AND of X and Y.
You simply add one more
Not
NAND gate at the end actually.
This way?
Yes.
Perfect. What about OR gate? If I need an OR gate?
Or gate,
before the
Or-
input of X, we have to add one another NAND gate by connecting its input as X. Yes.
Okay, this way.
Yes.
So using this 3 NAND gate, we can construct OR gate also.
One OR gate.
So basically, you guys told that using this NAND gate, we can construct all other classical gates. Or basically, we can write any classical logic, Boolean logic using this NAND gate. Because in the program also, whatever computer program or application you have, those all boils down to these classical gates. And if you are having this NAND gate in sufficient quantity, then you can write entire program or entire logic in terms of NAND gate. So it's a universal gate. So as you told that NAND is a universal gate, any other combination of universal gate can you suggest me?
NOR gate.
NOR gate.
NOR
Okay.
gate.
Any other? Any other set of gates can be termed as
XOR.
universal gate? XOR? I believe no. Using single XOR, you cannot construct others. Can you? Anyone? Can XOR be used as a universal gate?
No, sir.
No?
It's NAND and NOR which can be used as universal gates now. We usually
Okay.
To my
apply.
knowledge.
So any other gate? Other combination of gates? Can I write like this? And or if these two gate I have, then it can be also a universal gate set.
No, sir. We need a NOT gate as well, right?
Okay, so if I write like this and then NOT gate, then can it be a universal gate set?
Yes, sir. I think we can apply De Morgan's identities using this, right?
Yeah, so
I'm not
basically
sure, sir.
using no, because if you have and NOT gate, then using this and NOT gate, what you can do?
Then create
You
NAND.
can construct NAND,
Yes, sir.
And
and you already shown to us that it is a universal gate. So and then NOT is also a universal gate set.
gates.
Okay, but generally in hardware implementation, in our current technology of ICs, NAND is one of the widely used technology. So where we have a large number of NAND gates in the ICs, and using those NAND gates, we construct classical Boolean logics or whatever computer program you run. So those all are converted into these NAND gates. Okay, and then it is run. Perfect. So till now in classical, what we have understood is there other than this NOT gate, all other gates are not reversible, and we understand that if we have a set of universal gate with us, then whatever Boolean logic or classical programs are there, we can write them in terms of universal gates. Okay. So let's come to quantum bit. So can anyone tell what is a quantum bit? Maybe your answer is not perfect, but what you have understood by quantum bit or qubit? Can participant tell me? Any of you?
So it's the way to express data in quantum circuits, like how we use bits in classical systems.
Yes, yes.
This is the way we like represent data in quantum circuits. I hope. I don't know whether
Perfect.
I'm
Yeah.
precise.
So as you told, what's your name?
Myself is Pratiksha, sir.
Pratiksha, correct.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. So Pratiksha, the way you told that it is a quantum version of bits. So in classical we have bits which can take either value 0 and 1. So similarly in quantum, this qubits can take 0, 1, or the linear combination of both. Means it can be in superposition, or you can say combination of both 0 and 1 simultaneously. Here, if I write this state psi, so what I'm saying is that psi is a single qubit, is a one qubit state, and it is a combination of both 0 and 1. Okay. So now what we are saying is that this qubit is in both 0 and 1 state at the time. Okay. And there is this condition that this mod alpha square plus mod beta square should be 1. Why so? Because this mod alpha square is nothing but probability of 0 on measurement is mod alpha square. So try to understand this thing, because it's a very important concept to be understood by you, that this alpha is basically the amplitude of state 0, beta is amplitude of state 1, and this alpha mod alpha square is what? So currently in quantum thing, it is combination of both 0 and 1, but once we measure this state, okay, or once we try to observe this state psi, we get either 0 or 1. Okay, we cannot get both on measurement. So on measurement, we will be getting either 0 or 1. Okay. And what is the probability of measuring 0? That is mod alpha square. What is the probability of measuring 1? Mod beta square. And this probability sum should be 1. Is this concept clear? Or if any doubt is there, then let's ask. Pratiksha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Is there any doubt in this concept? Because it is very important and it should be.
No, sir, it's clear. It's clear, sir.
It's clear. Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
Thank you. Thank you for asking, sir.
Yeah. So this block sphere is a mathematical representation to visualize or understand the qubit in a better way. Okay. So as I told just now that this there is a qubit, general qubit, single qubit state alpha times 0 plus beta times 1, and this is the condition there. So how this thing we can represent over a sphere that we are calling here as a block sphere. So we can write this state as this, or we can write like this: psi cos theta by 2 times 0 plus e power I phi sine theta by 2 times 1. So I am saying these two things are equal. This alpha times 0 plus beta times 1 is equal to this, because what we require is that this coefficient square should be 1. So here if you see this cos theta by 2 square plus this term square. So if you know this identity, cos square theta plus sine square theta is always 1. Okay, and this e phi square will always be also 1. So cos square theta by 2 plus e I phi sine square theta by 2. So here also square. So this thing is always 1. Model of this is 1, and this is also 1. So our condition is same. So this is mod alpha square plus beta square. So here the identity is what you can say, it's true that this probability sum is 1. So if I ask you what is equivalent to alpha here, can anyone tell? And what is beta in this representation? If I ask you, so alpha is the coefficient of 0 state. What is that?
Cos theta by 2.
Cos theta
Cos
by
theta
2.
by 2. Perfect. What is beta?
E power I phi
Phi sine theta by 2.
sin theta.
90. So, and since alpha square plus beta square is 1, so this identity is holding. Now try to understand this representation, that how we are representing a qubit. Okay, so there is a general, so it's a block sphere, and radius of it is 1. So basically it's a unit sphere, means whatever point on the surface of this having a length of 1. So this vector, whatever points are there on the sphere surface is having amplitude 1. or the length of that vector is 1. So, okay. So basically, if you call this r, basically this length, so it is 1. Okay. Now what I'm saying is, what is this theta and phi here? Okay. So let me change the color of this pen. Just a second. It's coming again black. So no problem. It's not changing. Why it is not changing? Can anyone tell? The pen color is not changing.
Changed, sir.
No, it is again black only.
Uh,
I want to make it other color, but okay, anyway, no problem. So we can go ahead with that. So understand here. So what is this theta? So every vector on the surface of this unit sphere is a valid qubit state. Okay. And what is this theta? Theta is the angle with this plus z axis. So x, y, z axis is there. So with this plus z axis, so call it as a plus z. And again, here it will be minus z. So what is the angle it makes with that plus z axis? That is called theta. Okay. So theta can vary from 0 to pi in this direction, and in this direction if vector is there, then it is 0 to pi. So what is the range of theta? Theta will be from 0 to pi. Okay, and what is this theta? Angle with plus z axis. Okay, what is this phi? So phi, so what we do is that if there is a vector psi state, and we take the projection of this vector on xy plane. So here this dashed circle is xy plane. So we take the projection of this vector psi here. So let's call it this projection P here of this vector psi on xy plane. And now this vector P is angle with this plus x-axis. So this is plus x-axis. So whatever angle it makes with that projection is called phi. So this phi can be vary from, if a vector is here, then phi is 0. And if vector is here, phi is this phi. And it can go like this, complete 360. So what is the range of phi or phase we call it?
2 pi.
Sorry?
2 pi.
So
360.
0 to 2 pi.
2 pi.
Okay.
2 pi.
And what we are claiming here is that any vector using this theta and phi, we can define uniquely over this block sphere. If I tell that this theta is 0, so where this point may be? If this theta is 0, so this psi will be where? It will be on plus z axis. So okay, let me write it here. What is this theta and phi? Theta is angle with plus z, and this phi is angle with plus x of projection vector. Okay, so what I'm telling here is that using this theta and phi, if we know the theta and phi, then I can tell that where this state psi will be. Okay, so if I ask you that theta is 180, so where will be this vector on this block sphere? So theta 0 here. So theta will be pi where? Here at this point, na? So then it means minus z. So guys, are you with me? Any doubt is there? Then please ask. Please Speak loudly. Participant, please speak loudly. So using this theta and phi, we can define a state uniquely over this Bloch sphere. So if I give you this alpha beta, then you can find theta phi and can denote a state on this Bloch sphere. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So given alpha beta, you can tell, given theta and phi, you can tell about a state on this Bloch sphere. And any point on this Bloch sphere is a valid qubit state, because this mod alpha square plus mod beta square will be 1 for that point. Okay. So we will revisit this thing in next slide. Okay. So now what I'm saying here is that suppose this is your quantum state. Okay. General single qubit state. So instead of writing as this kind of notation alpha times 0 plus beta times 1, so what we are interested in is this coefficient only, because this coefficient alpha and beta tells about the state of a qubit. So if we write those alpha and beta in a column vector like this, alpha and beta, so if you know this alpha and beta, then you can tell about the state. You will be knowing about theta and phi, because alpha and beta give us, you can determine theta and phi. Okay. So what we are saying is that you can denote a single qubit state by this kind of column vector, and in those column vector you will be writing alpha and beta. And what is this alpha and beta? Are coefficient of state 0 and coefficient of state 1.
State 1.
Okay. So if I ask you what is the coefficient of, okay, just a second. So if I want to write a 0 state, so what will be the alpha and beta?
Alpha equal to 1 and beta equal to 0.
Perfect. So alpha is 1 and beta is alpha is 1, beta is 0. So we can write them in this kind of column state. So what is alpha? 1, beta 0. So this way we can write 0 state. What about 1 state? Alpha will be
Alpha
0.
equal to 0, beta equal to 1.
And every time you will be finding that this condition is being fulfilled. Mod alpha square plus mod beta square is 1. Here in this case, alpha is 1, beta is 0. So sum will be 1. Same also here. Okay. So what we are saying here is that instead of writing this state like this, if we know this coefficient alpha and beta, then we are knowing the information about the single qubit. Okay. And what we are saying here is that a single qubit has two basis states. What are those basis states? 0 and 1. And we are writing an arbitrary single qubit in linear combination of 0 and 1. Okay. So we call this 0 and 1 as a basis state. So any single qubit will be basically linear combination or superposition of this 0 and 1. So is this thing okay? Participant, please reply.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So now if I ask you, this state psi 0 is a valid qubit state. Psi 0 is basically 0 only. So is it a valid qubit state? Yes, please. Participants.
Now it does not satisfy alpha square plus beta square equal to 1 equation.
Why? What is alpha here?
Alpha 1.
Okay. What is beta?
Oh, sorry, sir. Beta also 0.
So what is the constraint? Mod alpha square plus mod beta
Plus
square.
beta square is equal to 1.
What is
Yes,
that?
sir. Satisfied. Yes.
So is it a valid qubit?
Yes. Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Valid? Okay.
Yes, sir.
What about the second one? Psi 1. Coefficients are this and this.
Yes, a valid state only. 1 by
Okay.
1.
What about this psi 3?
Psi 2.
Psi 3. This is valid.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Why? Because that sum is 4.
4.
So it's not a valid qubit state. What about this? 0.36 is not a valid or valid?
Valid.
You guys must be having engineering or mathematics background, so you can tell quickly. Just need to mod square this and mod square this. If it is 1, then it's a valid qubit, just like this. So that mod square sum is not 1. So it's not a valid qubit. What about this? Psi 5? Any new participant who has not replied till now can tell whether this psi 5 is a valid qubit.
Not a valid qubit.
Why? Because that is sum is 2.
2.
Perfect. And this whenever this sum is not 1, it means that point will lie inside or outside that block sphere surface. Whenever this sum is not 1, it means that point might be inside or outside. So it's not a valid qubit state. Okay. And whenever that sum is 1, that point will be lying on the surface of this block sphere. So now if I ask you what is the theta and phi for these states? Can anyone tell? As you remember in the previous slide, so alpha was what? Cos theta by 2. What was beta? E I phi.
E power I phi sin theta.
Theta by 2. So if I ask you,
0.
so in this case, what is alpha?
Alpha is 1.
Alpha is 1. So basically,
Beta.
we have given these two equations, alpha is this and beta is this, and we want to determine theta and phi. So seeing this state, we can tell about alpha and beta first. What is alpha here? This state 0,
Alpha
1,
1.
beta.
0.
So we know the value of alpha and beta. So we can plug this here and can determine the theta. Is it okay? So what will be theta and phi? In this case, theta will be 0 and phi will be also 0. In the case of 1, alpha is 0, beta is 1. Okay. So we will put value 0 here, then we will be coming to know that this theta is basically phi, and again the phi will be 0 only. So if you see these points on that block sphere surface here, 0 is this state, 1 is this state. Okay. So North Pole denotes state 0, South Pole denotes state 1. And any point on this block sphere surface can be combination of these two states. Okay. So here you told that it is 0 and it is 0. In this case, it is pi and it is 0. Can anyone tell about this state? 1 by root 2 times 0 plus 1 by root 2, 1. Anyone?
90 degree.
90 degrees what? Theta?
Theta.
Okay. And what is phi? Theta is 90 degree. Suppose if I help you in getting the theta, phi is, I am saying it is 0 degree. So theta is 90. So where this point will lie if theta is 90? It will be on the xy plane. XY plane, every vector will be having 90 degree angle with this plus z axis. But I am saying that phi is 0. Phi 0 means this point must be here only. Are you getting this thing? Phi is what? Phi is the angle with that plus x axis. So in this case, phi is 0. So this point will be on this plus x axis only. So this is your point here. On the plus x axis. 1 by root 2 times 0 plus 1 by root 2 times 1. If I ask you where is this point will lie, 1 by root 2 times 0 minus 1 by root 2 1. So in this case also theta is 90 and phi you will come to know it is 180. So can anyone tell where this point will lie? If theta is 90 So theta 90 means
This side.
point will be on xy plane.
Z.
Yes, please.
Opposite to z axis.
Z axis.
Sorry. Please repeat. I could not listen you.
Just a projection of z axis.
No. I am
Negative.
asking you negative x-axis.
Negative. Yes.
Because if you go in this direction at minus x side, then this phi will be what? Phi is the angle with plus x-axis. So phi will be 180. So this point is basically on minus x-axis. This is at plus x-axis. This point is at plus z point, and this is at minus z. Okay. So just now what we have understood is that given theta phi, we can tell about the state. Given state, we can tell about alpha beta. If you know alpha beta, then we can go theta phi. So this thing is like from one given one thing, we can go to the other thing. Is this thing okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So single qubit, we have seen that this single qubit is just a combination of 0 and 1, and it can lie on the surface. Okay, so it's a mathematical way to represent a qubit and understand it. Okay, but in case of 2 qubit system or more qubit system, so any single qubit system like 1 qubit I has this called x qubit. So this x is a combination of 0 and 1, and coefficients are alpha 0 and alpha 1, suppose. There is another qubit y, which is having common coefficients beta 0 and beta 1 times 1 here. Okay. So if I ask you, these 2 qubits are single individual qubits, and if I combine them, it's a qubit, 2 qubit system, then what will be the joint state of these 2 qubits? Okay. So whenever you want to combine 2 qubits or 2 quantum gates, so this combining thing is done by tensor product. Okay. So can anyone tell what is the tensor product? If I talk about the matrix multiplication, if there are 2 matrices A tensor B I want to do, then what is this tensor product? A is a matrix, B is a matrix. I want to do tensor product of this A and B. So what will be the tensor product? Assume that these 2 matrices are of sizes 2 cross 2. Anyone? Suppose this is A matrix. Anyone? What is the tensor product? Can anyone tell? Okay. So tensor product is nothing like this. It is simply each element of this A matrix is multiplied by entire B matrix. So how it will look like? It will be like this: A11 multiplied by B, A12 multiplied by B, A21 multiplied by B, A22 multiplied by B. So this will be a matrix which is just tensor product of this A and B. So what we have understood by tensor product? Each element of this A matrix or the first matrix is multiplied with the entire matrix B. So here first element is multiplied, second element, third element, 4 elements are multiplied by B matrix. So if you have this B as a 2 cross 2 matrix, then you will be replacing that matrix here. So let's suppose it's a big matrix, you will be multiplying with that. So the idea here is that in the tensor product, we are working like this. So each element of this A matrix is multiplied by the second matrix, and this is called tensor product. And this same tensor product phenomena is used in quantum systems to combine or jointly represent 2 or more qubit systems. So if there are 2 qubit X and Y, so how we can write as a vector form? Can anyone tell? If I want to write it as a vector form, then what I will be writing in these vectors? So I told that this single qubit system we can represent by a column matrix.
Yes.
So in the
X1,
column, what
X2.
we write? X1, sorry?
X2, X1, X2.
No. Alpha 0 is the coefficient.
Oh, sorry.
Alpha 0, alpha 1.
Alpha 0, alpha.
Perfect. What about x, y qubit?
Beta 0,
Beta 0, beta 1.
beta 1.
Perfect. And this is the tensor product phenomena. So if I ask you to do tensor product of these two states, so what it will be? So here I will be writing this
Alpha
x,
0 is 2.
and here it is. This tensor product will be in between beta 0, beta 1. So what it will be?
Alpha 0, beta 0 plus alpha 0, beta 1
Alpha 0,
plus
beta 1, alpha 1, beta
alpha
0,
1, beta 0, alpha 1, beta 1.
alpha 1, beta 1. So it's a column matrix. Is it okay? Perfect. And we can write it like this also. Maybe alpha 0, 0, we can write this thing alpha 0, beta 0. So I'm just renaming them alpha 0, 1, alpha 1, 0, and alpha 1. Just this two multiplication result. So I'm writing like this alpha 0, 0 is nothing but alpha 0 and beta 0. So I can write like this, just renaming this thing. Okay. So if you are having two qubits, then you can combine them using this phenomena. Okay, just tensor product of those two column matrices. So what I'm getting here is, in case of single qubit, it was single qubit. If you see, it's a 2 cross 1 qubit system. So only two entries are there, coefficient of 0 and 1. In case of two qubits, how many entries are there? See here, there
4
are
cross
4 plus
4
1.
cross 4 cross 1.
4 plus 1. And if there will be n qubits, then what it will be?
N
Square.
cross 1.
No, 2 power
N
n
square.
2 power n. 2 power n.
cross 1. Okay, for n qubits. Perfect. So what we are saying is that here this coefficient are of what? Here suppose alpha 0 and alpha 1 is there. So what this alpha 0 was? It was coefficient of 0 state.
Coefficient of 0.
And here what this was? Coefficient of.
Coefficient of 1.
Okay. So in case of this 2 qubit system, this first coefficient is what? It will be coefficient of 0, 0
0,
state.
0, 0.
It will be of 0, 1.
0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1.
Okay. And correct. So 1, 1. And this 1, 1 we can represent as a okay. So this thing is okay. Okay. So can we write like this? XY. This tensor product we have done, so we can write it like XY also. Okay. So let's go back to next slide. So see here, what we have seen is here is that we did this thing in the previous slide, and we can rename them. So this thing is already understood, and we know that there will be 4 coefficients, and these coefficients are corresponding to 0, 0, 0, 1, and 1, 0, and 1, 1
0,
states.
1, 1.
Okay, and this way also you can do the tensor product. So what I did is, instead of writing them as a column matrix, I did simply here, so that you can also do. But the thing here is to understand is that in case of 2 qubit system, there will be 4 basis state. What were basis states in a single qubit system? 2 basis states, namely 0 and 1. Is it okay? And any general single qubit state will be combination of this basis state 0 and 1. See here. Okay. In case of 2 qubit system, there will be 4 basis states 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Okay. And their linear combination can be used to. This thing is not correct. So let's come here. So what I'm saying is that if I do this kind of multiplication, so I have suppose these 2 basis states of single qubits 0 and 1. So what I can do is, if I want to write them as a tensor product, so I will be doing like this. Can anyone tell what will be the tensor product of 1, 0 and 0, 1? Tensor product of 1, 0 and 0, 1. Anyone can help me?
0,
1,
0, 1, 0, 1.
Last will you? First time 1 is multiplied with this thing. So it will be 0, 1. Second time 0 is multiplied with 0, 1. So it will be 0, 0. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what I'm saying is that this is a basis state 0, 1 for 2-qubit system, and it is denoted by this kind of vector. Okay. If this is the basis state, okay, one of the basis state. This is a basis state 1, 1 is basically tensor product of 1 tensor with 1. So you will get this kind of state. So there are 4 basis states. Okay. And what we are saying is that any 2-qubit state can be represented as a linear combination of these 4 basis states. Is this thing clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just one more thing I want to add here. So just I want to compare this thing with the single qubit. So single qubit, you remember this 0 and 1 were the basis states, and they were denoted by this kind of matrices. Okay, these were denoted by, since these were basis states for single qubit system, so these were elements like 2 cross 1 kind of thing. Okay, but in case of 2-qubit system, the basis states will be of 4 cross 1. 4 cross 1. Okay, and any state you can write as a linear combination of these 4 states. Okay, so let's suppose this is a 2-qubit state, and let's call it psi 2. So it is linear combination of 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. Okay, so if I ask you whether this is a valid 2-qubit state, so what should be the condition for a 2-qubit system to be valid? Okay, if I ask you what is the probability of getting 0, 0 on measurement?
(0.316).
No, mod square of this thing. This 316 is amplitude of 0, 0 state, and probability is amplitude square. So this will be what? 0.316 square. What is the probability of getting 1, 0?
0.548 square.
548 square. This thing is okay. If I ask you, what should be this probability sum of all basis states?
Should be 1.
Perfect. So if this sum of this coefficient square is 1, then it's a valid
It's
qubit.
a valid qubit.
So perfect. So in this case, this sum is 1. So it's a valid qubit state. If I ask you, what is the probability of getting 0 on measurement? First qubit as 0. I'm not asking about second qubit. Second qubit, I don't worry. I just want to know what is the probability of measuring first qubit as 0. So whenever, in which cases 0 is coming as a first qubit?
0.316 multiplied by.
Not multiplied. If I get this state, then I'm okay. If I get this state, then also I'm okay. So probability sum of these two states is my probability desired, that in these two cases I will get 0 as a first qubit. So mod square of this and mod square of this is the probability. Mod square this plus mod square this is the probability of getting 0, 0 and 0, 1 states. In these two cases, my first qubit will be 0.
0.
Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So similarly, if I ask you, what is the probability of getting second qubit 0?
0.316 square plus 0.548 square.
Perfect. Okay. And if I measure this 2-qubit system, then what I will be getting? I will be getting either this 0, 0, both the qubit measured as 0, 0, or 0, 1, or 1, 0, or 1, 1. So this thing is probabilistic. Understand this thing. So I cannot get all these 4. And in quantum system, these 4 things are existing in superposition. All are there. But if we measure this state psi 2, then we can get any one of these with their corresponding probabilities. Okay. So what is the most likely state on measurement?
The third, the fourth one, sir.
No.
One.
Which one? So
With the
whichever state is having mod square least or most. So I think this 0.316 is having the highest value. If you do mod square of this, is it so or no? So basically, if you square this thing, square this thing, square this thing, square this thing, so this probability sum will be 1. And if I ask you which is most likely, so whenever this mod square is highest, then that state you will be getting with high probability. Okay. So 1 qubit system, we have understood that there are 2 basis states, 0 and 1. We can write them as a 2 cross 1 column matrices, and we can generalize a single qubit state by a linear combination of them. 2 qubit system you have already seen. There will be 4 basis states. Okay, and any states we can create this kind of states. Okay, so suppose if I say my site 2 is like this, it is having 1 0 with 1 by root 2 and plus 1 by root 2 times 0 1. So is this state is in superposition? Yes, it is in superposition of 1 0 and 0 1, and there is no 1 1 and 0 0 there. So if I ask you what is the probability of measuring this state, this site 2, and probability of measuring 1 1, the probability will be 0 because these coefficients are 0 here. So what is the probability of measuring 1 0? Anyone?
0.
Probability of measuring 1 0.
0.548.
No, mod square of this thing, that is 1 by 2, 50%. What is the probability of getting 0 1?
1/2.
Perfect. So again it is 50%. So 50% time we are getting this, 50% time we are getting this. It means 100% is already been plugged. So this thing will not happen. So because since the coefficient is 0, so their probability will be mod square of 0, mod square of 0 will be 0.
Sir,
Yes, please.
can I ask a doubt? Like,
Yes, please.
sir, suppose we have this probability for 1 0 as 1 by 2, and similarly for 0 1, it's again 1 by 2, no, sir? So while measuring, how will we distinguish like which one was transmitted or which is being represented?
Yes.
How do
So
we
help me.
differentiate?
Yeah. So help me in writing your state. The state you are telling.
Sir, in the identity which we have discussed now,
Yeah.
is 50%. It's 50% probability for 1 0 and 50 for 0 1, no, sir?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Like, so when we
So,
measure it, like, how do
yes.
we distinguish which
No,
it
no.
should
So,
be like?
so
Sir.
what happens is that when you
Yes.
measure these 2 qubits, now, so these
Yes,
2
sir.
qubits are, yes, please. Let me write. So we measure them in classical bits. So let's call it this classical bits C1, C2. So these classical bits can hold either 0 or 1. Okay. So these are classical bits. So we measure them in classical bits. So when we measuring this Q1 and Q2, this 2 qubit system, Psi2, this Psi2, so it is having 2 qubits Q1 and Q2. So when we measure these 2 qubits Q1 and Q2, so we will be getting classical 1 here and classical 0 here. First qubit I measure, I got 1. Second qubit I measure, I got 0. So it means what I got, this state 1 0.
Okay, sir.
If I get 0 1, then I will be saying, okay, this case happens. So in this case, Q1 measure to 0, Q2 measure to 1. So understand this thing here, that what we do is this, there are n qubits are there. So we measure them in classical n bits. In quantum thing, they are in superposition of many states here. But in classical, they will collapse to one of the combination. Okay, or one of the basis states you can call. So 2 qubit system is there. So it will collapse to one of the combination like 1 0 0 1 or 1 1 or 0 0. 2-bit.
Okay, sir. So that combination, it will collapse to the combination and classical bits.
Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So far any doubt is there with the participant, they can ask me. Please ask, because at the end of this FDP, you should be clear with those things. So once you are clear with those concepts, then platforms are or various tutorials or websites are available where you can quickly write quantum programs or quantum application. Maybe in future you can write. But these are very basic fundamental, and where I feel the participant or the new beginners struggle, that what is this alpha, beta, theta, phi. So if these things are clear, then you can quickly grasp high level concepts. So any doubt so far? Perfect. So if there is n qubit system, then what will happen? So in that case, we will be having states like this. So n qubits, if I talk, so there will be basis states. What kind of basis states will be there? This kind of basis states will be there. So 0, 0, 0 n times, and 1 is nothing but binary equivalent of 1. So in case of 2, what will happen? 0, 0, 0 and 1, 0. So here at n minus 1, that is nothing but 2 power n minus 1. So what I will be getting here is 1, 1, 1 all time 1. Are you getting this thing? In case of, if you remember, in 2 qubit system, there were only, how many states were there? 4 basis states. And what were those? Do you remember? So there were, in case of 2 qubit system, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1 were the 4 basis states. If you remember, for 1 qubit, only 0 and 1 were the states.
0 and 1.
So in case of n qubit system, there will be this 2 to power n basis states. And those are basically starting with n times 0 to n times 1. And there will be this 2 power n states. Okay, since n qubit is there, so there will be 2 power n basis states. And if I write them as a phi n, if I want to write as a column vector, then what will be happen here? It will be 2 power n cross 1. And here will be what? Coefficient of this state. All bits 0. So this is we are calling as alpha 0. So it is nothing but coefficient of this. Here we call them alpha 1, alpha 2, and here they are calling as alpha n minus 1. And this capital N is nothing but 2 power n. So in this case, if there is an n qubit system, okay, so what we are saying is that let's call this as phi n, and this is your state. Okay. So if you are able to visualize this thing, someone's mic is unmuted. Mute.
Let me mute it, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I'm telling here is, if there is n qubit system, so it can be in superposition of all these 2 power n states. Okay. So these are 2 power n states. So it's a linear combination of all these 2 power n states simultaneously. So this thing you should understand. Using only n qubits, we are able to hold 2 power n states. N qubits only, but we are able to hold 2 power n state in quantum system in superposition. Okay.
Sir, that means in superposition, all these states are simultaneously existing.
Yes, but
Yes.
when we measure them, we get them with certain probabilities. And what is the probability? So getting 0 probability is mod alpha 0 square. Getting 1 probability is mod alpha 1 square.
Okay.
And you remember the condition? This probability sum should be 1.
Yes, sir. It should be equal to 1. Yes,
okay. So this superposition is very important phenomena. Why? Because using only n qubits, if you put the value of n is equal to 30, okay. So how many states will be there? 2 power 30. and 2 power 30 is almost 1 billion plus.
Yes.
So only 30 qubits are there, and you are able to hold 1 billion states, and you can manipulate them also. You can compute some function over them. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So it's a tremendous memory, you can say, or can hold some. So the n qubits are able to hold this much data, 2 power n data. And in quantum, you can manipulate also. But the constraint is that once you measure it, then you will get one of them with certain probabilities. Okay. So see here, 30 qubits can represent this many amplitudes. And if you go for 500 qubits, then it is having how many states it is having? States or amplitude more than the number of atoms in the universe. So see the power of this superposition in quantum bits. So if we superimpose this 500 qubits, then we are able to hold this many states, which is more than the atoms in the universe. So this thing is okay, or this concept require more clarity, or if any doubt is there?
Yes.
Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Perfect. So now we are ready to understand this quantum gates. Okay. Qubits you understand, because qubits are able to hold these many states. But if you want to perform some computation, then you have to apply some gates or some logic on those qubits. Okay. So for that we require quantum gates. And what is a quantum gate? It's just change the state of a qubit from one state to other state. Okay. So you can kind of, if my state is this psi and I apply a u as a quantum gate or operator on this, then it will be u psi, and u psi I can rename as a psi dash. Okay. So if I talk about a single qubit gate u, then this psi dash should be also a valid qubit, because I cannot apply some quantum gate u on this psi and I change this to psi dash, and this psi dash should be also a valid qubit state. Okay, this is your qubit. This is your gate operation. So it will convert them to psi dash. Okay. And here in this quantum, every quantum gate is reversible. Okay, means this kind of properties. So this u gate is there. So u dagger is an operator and it is identity. Means if I say like this, u dagger is basically u inverse. So I'm writing this thing as a matrix. So this quantum, so you remember this single qubit I can write like this kind of thing, alpha beta kind of 2 cross 1 vector. Is it so? Remember? So I can write this single qubit gate as also matrix. This u I can write as a matrix of 2 cross 2. Single qubit I can write as a 2 cross 1 column vector state. Quantum gate I can write as a u11, u12, u21, u22 as a matrix. So what I'm telling is that this matrix or this gate operation, it should be reversible, and the condition is that this u dagger should be identity. Means u dagger is u inverse, and what this u dagger is, it is just complex conjugate of that u. So complex conjugate. So don't worry about this thing. Understand this thing here, that if I apply I get this u. So this is the condition, unitary condition on matrices, and unitary matrices are reversible. So u is basically the matrix corresponding to a quantum gate, and this matrix should be to make it reversible, it should be having this property of u dagger should be identity. So it's a transpose conjugate. Okay. So what I'm saying is that if I, on application of this u, I get this psi dash, then there should be another gate that should be able to bring me back to the state psi. So in this case, what is the inverse of this u? This u dagger. So if I apply this u dagger here on this psi dash, then I will be getting identity. Again, the same psi I will be getting. So understand this thing, that on psi, if you apply this u gate and you get this psi dash, then there will be this u dagger. If you apply it on this psi dash, then you will be getting original psi. Is this thing clear? because there is this property U dagger and there is U and this psi. So U dagger U is basically identity. So it is just psi only. So it's a very important concept to understand here is that these quantum gates are reversible because this comes from the quantum mechanical phenomena that these operations, quantum operations are reversible. And to make them reversible, if we have these quantum gates, and these quantum gates we can write as a matrix, here a 2 cross 2 matrix. So if I talk in terms of matrices, then to make them reversible, this every matrix should follow this kind of property: U dagger, U dagger is equal to identity, or U dagger U should be identity. So in that case, U dagger is nothing but U inverse. Okay. So if you apply U and U dagger on this state psi, then you will be getting the original state. Okay. So U is a quantum gate, U dagger is another quantum gate, and this U dagger is inverse of this U. So is this thing clear? Any doubt is there? So if you visualize that thing, yes, please. Yeah, please. Any question? Okay. So what I was telling is that in case of single qubit gate, so this thing mathematically we understood. But if we want to visualize that quantum gate operation, single qubit gate on this Bloch sphere, then what is that operator or the quantum gate does is it takes this state psi. So let's suppose my qubit is in state psi here, and my psi is, suppose psi is my alpha beta. If I apply some operator U or quantum gate U on this state psi, and my state become psi dash, and I denote it as alpha dash beta dash here, then what will happen? If I apply some gate, so maybe it is taking it to some other point. So let's call it psi dash. Okay. And if I apply U dagger or inverse of U here on this psi dash, then we again bring it back to psi. So I apply U over here, I apply U dagger. So I apply U on this psi state, I take this point to another point on the Bloch sphere. So remember, every point on this Bloch sphere is a valid qubit. So what this quantum gate is doing, just moving this point from one state to another. So psi dash, it comes here. If I apply this U dagger operator, or basically inverse of that U, then it will bring back me to original state. So high level, if you want to understand, then this is just moving of this qubit state on this Bloch sphere is a quantum gate in case of single qubit. That we will visualize also. But time being, can anyone repeat this thing? That single qubit operation is nothing but movement of this state psi from one place to other in the Bloch sphere. Okay. And for every U, there will be this U dagger, which will bring it back to the original state. Is this thing okay? So there are two kinds of quantum gates. One is single qubit. So those are operating on single qubit, and one are multi qubits. Okay. So every single qubit gate is this operation only. Okay. So this every single qubit gate, we can high level say that it's just moving one state to another. How it moves, those depend on the specific values of this gate, X, Y, and Z, and this Hadamard and phase gate. Okay. So that we will be seeing. So just come to that single gate. So you remember any general single qubit state is C0 and C1. These are the coefficient alpha beta. So what does this X gate does is, X gate just swap those coefficients. Okay. So this we called as a X gate. But if you compare it with the classical NOT gate, and then it is also doing that NOT gate operation. So if you apply on the 0 state this X gate, then it will gives you 1. If you apply X gate on 1 state, then it will give you 0. Okay. So just you remember that 0 can be represented as a column matrix, 1 can be represented as a column matrix, and the matrix corresponding to this X gate is this 0, 1, 1, 0. Okay. So it's a 2 cross 2 matrix, and what it does is, so So, okay. So X is applied on 0 state. So what will be happening? X matrix is this 0, 1, 1, 0. And what you can write as a 0 as a column vector? One zero. So if you do this matrix multiplication, simple multiplication, then you will be getting result 0, 1. And this 0, 1 is nothing but one state. Are you seeing this thing? So whenever you want to apply some quantum gate, so here the gate is X. So just need to apply X on 0. So you will be writing the matrix representation of X, that is this, and matrix representation of 0, that is this, and just multiply it. So on multiplication, we are getting matrix 0, 1, and it is corresponding to state 1. Okay. So, and the property of this X gate is what? If you apply this X gate 2 times, then you will get the original identity matrix. So identity means original thing you will get. So this X gate is its self inverse, similar to our classical X gate. Okay. So this is invertible. Okay. So in general qubit, you can visualize like this. If alpha beta is there, then it will swap those coefficient, X gate application. And on the block sphere, if you visualize this X gate, then it is just a rotation, okay, rotation of this state psi around X axis. Okay, so X gate is rotation around X axis, and angle is by 180 degree. Okay, so if you just go here and see, suppose my state is here. Okay, this is my state 0, and I want to apply X gate. So just now what I told you guys is that it is just a rotation around X axis by 180 degree. So this is my X axis, and I need to just rotate this around X axis. So okay, so if I rotate this around X axis by 180 degree, then it will come here. Are you able to see this thing? Visualize this thing. I am telling this general qubit gate. I told that just move from one point to another. So what does this X does is, anyone? Movement around X axis by 180 degree. So this is your X axis. So I move this point from here to here. So this is basically 180 degree around this X axis. So it will come here. And if I again apply X gate on this, so I need to again 180 degree, I need to rotate. So it will bring it back to here.
0.
Perfect. So all these single qubit quantum gates are basically rotation of this point state psi from one place to other. This rotation is around different axes, X, Y, Z, and particular angles. Okay. So X gate is rotation around X axis by 180 degree. So these are direct notation, means what effect of this on basis states. So if I apply X gate on 0 state, then I get this. If I apply on this, so direct notation means on basis states. So in case of single qubit, basis states are 0 and 1. So how it changes the basis states? This is the matrix representation and circuit representation. And this thing we have already seen, that if you apply X on 0 state, then you get 1. If you apply X on 1 state, then you get 0. Perfect. So any doubt is there in understanding this X gate? Because all the other gates we can understand easily if we are clear with this X gate.
Yes.
Any doubt is there? I want to listen some doubt, because only few participants are replying. It means other maybe understanding or maybe not actively listening. So far any doubt in quantum gates or X gate? Okay, so I assume that there is no doubt. So till now what we have seen is that this quantum gate, X gate, I visualize that this changes 0 to 1 and 1 to 0. If I apply 2 times, then you will get original thing. Okay. Okay. So another is called phase shift gate. Okay. So what it does is, okay, what it does. So if you apply this gate on 0 state, it will not change it. But if you apply it on 1 state, it will change the angle. It will add an additional phase of phi. So basically e power I phi times it is multiplying with the state 1. Okay. So basically what it is doing is it's twisting the one state by an angle phi. Okay. So if this phi is basically pi, if I put the value of phi is equal to pi, then what it will be? One state will become what? E power I pi times 1. And e power I is what? Can anyone tell? What is the value of e power I pi? Cos pi plus iota sin pi. And cos pi is -1. Are you remembering this thing? Cos pi is -1. So minus will come out of this. So 1 will become -1. Okay. So basically its phase will completely change from plus to minus or minus to plus if it is already minus. So it's a general phase shift gate. Particular value of phi, that is pi if you put, and this thing is called Z gate. But it is called Z gate. Okay. Then we will see again. So if you understand this thing, that matrix for a general theta or phi. So if I put this theta or angle is equal to pi, then it is called Z gate, and matrix of that is 1 0 0 minus 1. Okay. If I put the theta is equal to pi by 2, then it is called S gate, and theta is equal to pi by 4 is called T gate. So specific value of this theta, so generalized theta or phi gate we can call is R theta. So it gives a rotation or additional phase of theta angle. If I put theta is equal to pi, then it is called Z gate. Otherwise, theta is equal to pi by 2 it is. Okay, so this theta specific value gives a different kind of phase shift gates. Okay, now understand that this, what is this Z gate? Okay, just a second, let me check whether Z is there or not. So Z gate is what? So X, Y, Z gate, remember? So this X, Y, Z gates are what? Rotation around those axes by angle of pi or 180 degree. So Z gate is nothing. It's a rotation around Z axis by 180 degree. Okay. So this is the case matrix for Z. X gate we have already seen. The matrix was like this. Rotation around X axis by 180 degree. Similarly, Y gate is there. So rotation around Y axis. So we will see also with the a tool to visualize this thing. But timing, just understand this thing. Okay. Another gate comes is that is called Hadamard gate. So if I apply it on 0 state, then it will gives me 1 by root 2 times 0 plus 1. If I apply it on 1, then again this kind of states. Matrix is this, okay, and circuit representation is this. And this is self-inverse, means if you apply this gate 2 times on a state, then you get identity. Okay. Now you understand this thing. If I apply Hadamard on 0 state and I'm getting this kind of a state. So if I ask you, this was 0 state. So what is the probability of measuring 0 with this state? Probability of getting 0 on measurement, this is qubit. And classically, if I want to measure it, so I will get 0 or 1. What is the probability? If this state is 0 only, then 100% I will get 0. I will get 0 because it is in pure 0 state. So I will get 0 only with 100% probability. But I apply Hadamard on it. Then I'm getting this kind of a state, which is 0 plus 1 linear combination. So if I ask you, what is the probability of measuring 0 in this state? Guys, probability is amplitude square. Amplitude mod square. What is the amplitude or coefficient? 1 by root 2.
The whole square.
So how much is that number? 1 by 2? 50%?
Yes, sir.
So 50%. What is the probability of measuring 1?
50%.
Originally, what is the probability of getting 0? Originally, it was 0 in 0 state. So if I measure this state initially, so it was 0 only. But when I apply Hadamard, then I'm getting the linear combination of both 0 and 1. And the probability is same. Either we measure 0 or 1. So Here only 0 was there, pure 0 was there, but I apply Hadamard, then I'm getting both 0 and 1, and this probability is also equal. So we call them as an equal superposition. Means it is superposition of both 0 and 1, but all of them are equal likely. So see the magic here. The superposition we can create using this Hadamard. So earlier we the qubit representation we see that we can create superposition, or we can have a single qubit in superposition of both 0 and 1. So here this 0 was the basis 0 state. So no 1 was there inside it. But if we apply Hadamard gate, then we can get 1 also in this. Okay. And it is called equal superposition. Okay. Now if I apply on one state, then I get this thing. So if I ask you here also, what is the probability of measuring 1? In this state, what is the probability of measuring 1?
1/2.
Perfect. So again 50-50. This minus sign is just for phase. Okay. But the probability will be same in this case or in this case. Okay. So what we have learned here in this Hadamard gate case is that this gate is helpful in creating superposition. Okay. From this pure basis 0 state, we are able to have 0 and 1 here. Okay. So if I ask you, I have this kind of a state, alpha times 0 plus beta times 1, then you can compute this h of psi also. So what we can do is h of alpha we can take out 0 plus beta times h of 1. But this simple linear algebra we can apply. So I replace this psi, okay, with this values alpha times 0 plus beta times 1, and this alpha and beta coefficients. So basically, Hadamard will be applied on this basis state 0 and basis state 1. And these formula we know. So we do this and we can solve this, and then solving we can get like this. Times 0 plus alpha minus beta square 2 times 1. So these are for this basis state 0 and 1. But if a general state alpha beta kind of thing is there, then we will get alpha plus beta by root 2, alpha minus beta by root 2. So this alpha beta can vary. Okay. In simple case of 0 and 1, these are 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. But it can take any value. But the condition should be what? Mod alpha square plus mod beta square should be 1. So can anyone suggest me different values of alpha and beta which satisfy this thing? So can I have like this root 3 by 2 or 1 by 2? If my alpha is this, beta is this. So is it a valid qubit? Alpha is root 3 by 2, beta is 1 by 2. So is it a valid qubit?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. So what I'm saying is that depending upon the alpha beta value, you can put alpha beta here and you can get Hadamard effect on it. Okay. So what I'm saying is that it is not necessary that this alpha beta should be 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. It can be anything. The condition should be this. Okay. Yeah. So just if you apply this Hadamard gate on 2 qubit system, okay. So 2 qubit system you can write like this. So okay, just a second. Firstly, just I want to you guys to have okay. So I want to show you the effect of this Hadamard on this 0, 0 state. So if I apply on this state, so what I will be getting here? I will be getting 1 by root 2 times 0 plus 1 by root 2 times 1, or I can write like this 1 by root 2, 1 by root 2. Is it okay? Here, what I will be getting, same thing. So if these 2 qubits are in this and this state, so I told you in the previous this tensor product kind of thing. So if these 2 qubits are in this and this state, so what I can do is, if I want to write them as a combined state, then what we can do? 2 qubits I want to combine, then what I need to do is just take the tensor product. Remember, tensor product. So the tensor product will come out to be like this: 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4, 1 by 4. Okay, 4 cross 1. So you can write like this: 1 by 4 times. Oh, sorry, 1 by 2 will come, I think. Yeah, 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Can anyone verify? Tensor product of this will be like this: 1 by 2 times 1, 1, 1, 1. Is it okay? Can anyone verify this thing? If I have this Hadamard apply on 0 and Hadamard apply on 0, and I want to write them combined state. So combined state will look like this. So if I ask you, what is the probability, or okay, you can write like this also: 1 by 2 times 0, 0 plus 1 by 2 times 0, 1, 1 by 2 times 1, 0 plus 1 by 2 times 1, 1. Okay. So what I'm telling here is that these kind of states, so what we did is just we apply 2 Hadamard gates, and on this 0, 0 state, we are able to have all these states 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1 in superposition. Let's call it Psi2 system. And if I ask you what is the probability of measuring 0, 0, can anyone tell? What is the probability of measuring 0, 0?
25%, sir.
Okay.
1 by 4.
By 4.
Yeah, 1 by 4. So
4.
what we are, so what we are here is able to visualize that using this 2 Hadamard, we create an state which is having all possible state with this 2 bits. That is 0, 0 is also there, 0, 1 is there, 1, 0 is there, 1, 1 is there, and all are having equal probability. So in case of single qubit, we remember using the Hadamard on a single qubit, we are able to create a superposition of 0 and 1, equal superposition of 0 and 1. So here both are 50-50. In case of 2 qubit, we know there will be 4 basis states, and here we observe that these 4 basis states are equal likely. Are you getting this thing? Using the Hadamard gate, we are able to create equal superposition of all possible basis states. So here, yes, clear? Any doubt? So if we are having this n qubit system, okay, so then this is the formula. Okay, so means earlier what we have assumed here in our simple case, that here our both the qubits are 0, 0. So we want to apply this. So generic formula, and this n qubits can be anything. Like here we assume that our 2 qubits were 0, 0. It can be 0, 1 also, or anything. So n qubit general formula is this. If you apply and can verify with the 2 qubit and 3 qubit systems, okay. So if I apply on 3 qubits, then I will be having the states like this: 1 by square root of 8, and you will be having all states 1, 1, 1. So what is the probability of getting 0, 0, 0? Can anyone tell? That is 1 by 8, 12.25%. So here all possible states, basically 2 power 3 states will be there, starting from 000 to 111. So all states will be there, and all are equal likely. Okay. So quickly go to the so single qubit gate we have understood. Okay. And one of them is the Hadamard gate is very important because it gives us power to create superpositions. Okay. Next is this control NOT gate. So it's a multi-qubit or 2 qubit gate system. So if you see here, 2 qubit system. So okay, so matrix will be of 2 power 2 cross 2 power 2. Okay, remember this thing. So whatever the qubits is there. So in case of single qubit gate, so gate matrix will be what? Here 2 power n cross 2 power n. And gate matrix on n qubit, and the qubits n qubit system is there, then it will be a column matrix of 2 power n cross 1. So remember this thing: n qubit we can represent as a 2 power n cross 1 column vector. N qubit gate can represent by 2 power n cross 2 power n square matrix. So in case of n is equal to 1, we are having 2 cross 2 matrix, but here 2 qubit gate, so matrix will be of 4 cross 4. Okay. And what this matrix or this gate does is, so there are 2 qubits. One is control and other is target. So here this B is solid dot denotes a circuit representation of CNOT gate. And what it does is, whenever this control qubit is 1, it will change the target qubit. So A will become B XOR A, and it means it will flip. So see here, whenever this control qubit is 0, so target qubit will remain same. So basically B XOR A, and here B is 0, so 0 XOR A will remain A only. In case of target control qubit is 1, so it will flip. How it will flip? So it will be B XOR A, and we know that B is 1 and 1 XOR A. So anyone remember? XORing something with 1 will complement it. Remember? So it will become A dash or this. So this is one of the most important 2 qubit gate, that is called control NOT gate. And in this case, we require 2 qubit as input, and depending upon the control qubit, it will flip the target qubit. Just to remember this thing, and matrix you don't need to worry. So just remember this thing. If the first qubit is control and second qubit is target, so 0 0 will remain. So if I apply, okay, so remember this thing, direct notation. So what direct notation says? So what this CNOT does on basis states. So in case of 2 qubit, basis state is 0 0. So first qubit is control, second is target. So since control is 0, so it will not change. Here also control is 0, not change. But here you see, this first is control, second is target. So what should happen? This should change because control is 1. Here control is 1, so this target should flip. So see here, it has become 0. Is this thing okay? First and second qubit are control and target, and depending upon the control first bit is 1 or not, it will change the second qubit. So if I ask you to apply CNOT on this state, so 0 0 is there, so 0 0 will remain same, and 1 1 will become participant. What will change this 1 1 2?
1 0.
So 1 0 it will become. And what I'm saying is, if you apply CNOT again, then it will become again the original thing.
1 1.
So CNOT is basically self-inverse. If I generalize this CNOT to 3 qubit, so what I'm saying is that in CNOT we are having only 2 qubits system. Here what we are saying is that there are 3 qubits and 2 controls. So we call this topology as control NOT. So this A and B are control qubit. If both of these A and B are 1, then it will complement C. Okay. So the equivalent expression is C XOR AB. Okay. So if I ask you, this is the matrix, don't need to worry about this. This is the circuit representation. So if I ask you if A and B, so when this will be applied, this gate will be applied. So okay, so A is remaining same, B is remaining same, only C is changing. So when this C will change, it is AB XOR C. So to make this gate effective, both A and B should be 1 because this A and B is there. So when both A and B are 1, okay, then what will happen? It will be like this, 1 plus C, and it will become C dash because XORing with 1 will complement it. So whenever both A and B are 1, then only it will complement it. Okay. So if I ask you, okay, so one more thing is that this control NOT is also self-inverse. So if I apply 2 times, then I get the original thing. So it's a self-inverse gate. So if I ask you, if I want to use as an AND gate, so how we can use it as an AND gate? If I put the value C is equal to 0, then I can get rid of this plus C term. So I will be having AND of A and B here. Is this thing okay? So I can use this topology as a AND gate. If I want to use as a NOT gate, then what I can do is I need to supply A and B as 1, 1. So what I will be getting here? So if I put A and B 1, 1, then I will get here C dash. So C I will get as a C dash. So in that case, if I put A and B as 1, 1, then you can use this Toffoli as a NOT gate. So what I told here is that if you put C is equal to 0, then it can behave like as a classical AND gate. If you put B is equal to 0 and C is equal to 1, no, it should be what? No. A and B, A is equal to 1 and B is equal to 1, then it will behave as a NOT gate. So using this Toffoli, I can have an AND and NOT gate. So can this thing I use as a universal gate to implement classical logics? Toffoli is a quantum gate. Can I use it as a universal gate for classical logics, whatever classical thing is there? Participants?
Yes, sir.
Because using this,
Yes.
I can have not an AND, so I can create NAND also. Once I have a NAND gate, then I can do any classical thing. So only this Toffoli gate is sufficient to implement all classical things. Okay, but there are other gates like Hadamard gate, XYZ gate. So those are gates extra. Like for example, Hadamard gate. What that Hadamard does? Hadamard enable us to create superposition, and in turn it gives us quantum parallelism kind of thing. So classical thing can be done with this Toffoli, but this Toffoli you cannot easily implement natively available because this Toffoli gate is not natively available. So in the qubits, what we have is basis gate, we have control node gate with us, and this T gate and T dagger. So what is this T gate? T gate is nothing but that phase gate with 1 0 0 and e power I pi by 4. So rotation around z axis by pi by 4. Okay, and this C naught you already know. So using this Hadamard, C naught, and this, I can create this Toffoli. Okay, but to create this Toffoli, I need these many quantum gates. Okay, so implement Toffoli using these many gates. So almost 14 gates we require to implement a single Toffoli. Okay, and these gates, if they are having small errors, then these errors will add up. Okay. Okay. So if I ask you, I want to swap those two qubits A and B. Okay. Then if I apply this 3 C naught gate in this fashion, then I will be having here B and here I will be having A. Okay. So you can do it, verify yourself. Like after first C naught, I will be having these values. So third iteration, I will be having swapped value here. See here, A was there, I will be getting B. Here B was there, I am getting A. Control swap is just nothing but swap only. So whenever the first bit is 1, so it will be like this. It will be this control bit is there, and then these 2 bits. So it will swap them based on this value. So when this control qubit is 1, then it will swap this B, or you can call D. This B and D qubit will swap if this first qubit is 1. So, and it is called Fredkin gate. As we are running out of time, so what I can tell here is that for classical universality, Toffoli is sufficient. Okay, but for quantum universality, we require these many gates. If this set is with us, or there may be another set also, but if we have this C naught and this Hadamard and this phase gate with us, then any quantum universal circuit we can implement. Okay, so Vidya ma'am, do we have 5 more minutes so that I can tell you?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Let us start.
Okay. So this thing we have understood very well, but if you are able to visualize those things on this IBM platform, then you will be able to. Yeah, just a second. IBM. So did anyone try this website? I told in my first session. Anyone try to log in into that website and try to create some quantum circuit or something? So meanwhile, participant, you can ask me any questions. Any question is there because this thing is loading? Okay. Any question is there? So I'm just creating one quantum circuit. Okay. So let's
Sir?
call it. Okay. Yeah,
Diksha?
please.
It's okay, ma'am. It's already loaded, I think. Let him continue, ma'am. I'll ask it fast.
Okay. So okay, see here, there are three qubits. So basically this zero is basically resetting the qubits. So these are three qubits here with us, Q0, Q1, and Q2. We can add more qubits here. So I'm saying that these three qubits are initialized with 0, 0, 0. So if you see the initial state, then it will be 0, 0, 0 only. All three qubits are 0, 0, 0. Okay. So amplitude of this state is 1, and probability of 000 is also 100%. And the corresponding quantum circuit or quantum code is there, quantum assembly code. So we declared 3 quantum registers, 3 classical registers, and we reset them, these operators. Okay. Okay. Now what I'm saying is, suppose if I apply Hadamard, so here what I'm saying is I have only one state, that is 0, 0, 0, means all 3 qubits are in 0, 0, 0 state. So how can I create equal superposition of 3 qubits where I will be having all possible states? So here if you see, other states are missing, they are not there. Here also in the probability kind of thing, you see there is not probability of getting 001 or 010. So as I told in the session, can anyone tell what we can do? If we apply 3 Hadamard gate on all these 3 qubits, then what will happen? See here, 12.5% probability I will get 000, 12.5% probability that I will get 111. So I'm getting all the state and those are equal likely. Same probability, 12.5%. So if I apply 3 Hadamard gate over these 3 qubits, then I am able to have all possible states with me. So are you able to see the benefit here? Only 3 qubits, but we are able to have 2 power 3 amplitudes. So just add one more qubit here and one more qubit. So if you don't initialize this qubit, by default they are initialized with 0 only. So I'm just simply applying the Hadamard gate. Sorry. So if you see this probability distribution, let's hide it. See here, what I did is I have 5 qubits initialized with 0 and I am applied 5 Hadamard gate on them. So what I'm having here is, see here, I am having all possible basis states starting from all 5 zeros to all 5 ones. So how many states will be there? There will be 2 to power 5. That is basically 32 states. So using 5 qubits, I am able to have 32 amplitudes with me. Are you getting this thing, participants?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
it is creating equal superposition of 32 states simultaneously. Probability of them is 3.125. For them, all of them, it is equal. So in the quantum algorithm, the first step is this one only, where we create this equal superposition. Okay. And then we cleverly apply our algorithm in such a way. Okay. N qubits we are having 2 to the power n amplitudes. So you implement your logic here using this quantum gates, and in between you do some clever tricks so that you should have, let's suppose my answer is this 0 4 times 1, whatever my answer is there in the of that function, I should have this with more probability. Understanding this thing, my answers probability should increase, because if I get this kind of distribution on running some program, then I cannot distinguish my answer, that is 0 4 times 1 with others, because all are equal likely, so I cannot distinguish. So
Yes,
in the
sir.
quantum algorithm, what should happen is that my answer should have more probability and the unknown answer should have less probability. So that is
Okay,
cleverly done in quantum algorithms.
sir. This was the doubt that I was asking earlier, like how to like distinguish between this, because in superposition all these states are existing simultaneously, no, sir. Like that
Yeah.
was my doubt actually. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you. hearing that.
So we will be covering some of the remaining thing in my next session tomorrow. Someone raised hand. What is the question there? I did not see the hand because. Okay, so okay, so there is no raised hand. So any doubt is there? Any question is there? Then you can ask me. Vidya ma'am, I am done with the talk.
Sir, done with the topic, sir. So actually, the session was so interesting. I mean, apart from this IBM Quantum Composer, this Quizzkit, does it support other than the normal gates, sir?
Yes.
The package of this Quizzkit in Python.
Yes.
I mean, what does it support, sir? Apart from the quantum gates?
Yeah, in the quantum gates, if you see the composer here, so if you are able to see that every instruction you need to write in the quantum gates or quantum assembly is there, because circuit, let's suppose I am handling 100 qubits, so I cannot drag and drop this 100 gates manually one by one. So I need some kind of loop structure or some kind of high level programming interface
Okay,
to
sir.
write my quantum program or applications. Those are supported in this Qiskit. So Qiskit is having Python kind of stuff there. So in the Python syntax, you can write something and that will be converted into underlying this quantum circuit or the quantum gates.
Okay,
So if I write like one statement, I write like initialize all qubits with 1. So I write one statement there and it will initialize all the qubits with 1. Here in the circuit, if I do it, I have to do it manually. Okay. So basically Python is high level interface and there are various other features also there in Qiskit where you can, let's suppose some quantum algorithm already been implemented that you can reuse in your program directly. You can call them as a function.
Okay, sir. We also have the Shor's algorithms package and also.
Yes, yes. So you can compare with this thing like this composer and this Quasm is kind of assembly language in your classical thing. And this Qiskit is basically C or C++ kind of thing where we have high level of programming interface with us.
So
Qiskit
earlier we used this QSIM earlier, sir, long back, but we have no idea about this Qiskit.
Okay. So I'm done with ma'am. Any
Yes,
question
sir.
is there, then I can provide the participant my email ID. So I may be replying if time allows me.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Participants, you want to say something? Pratiksha ma'am?
Nothing, ma'am. Thank you so much to sir for that wonderful session, ma'am. Like newbies, like I am basically a scholar, so like PhD scholars who are new into this field and all. This is really beneficial, ma'am. And I thank you also for like giving such a wonderful opportunity for all of us. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you,
Thanks,
sir.
sir. It's an excellent session, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Balasubramaniam.
So,
Okay, thank you then.
so
Yeah,
interesting, which started with the Blocksphere and the classical and the quantum gates descriptions. And apart from that, we also been introduced with this IBM quantum composer and all, sir. So thank you very much, sir. So participants, you can ask your queries. Even sir will be with us tomorrow too during the first session. Sir, tomorrow 10 o'clock, let us have the next session from sir side. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.